Welcome to Stories with Dice. This is the Dark Blue Sea, a Mutant Year Zero actual play podcast. If you're enjoying our actual plays, please subscribe to Stories with Dice so you'll never miss an episode. Don't forget to rate and review us. It really helps others discover the podcast. Follow us on social media to stay updated, share your thoughts, and join the conversation. You'll find the relevant links in the description of each episode.
Welcome back to Mutant Year Zero's Dark Blue Sea, our actual play in Stories of Dice. I am joined, as ever, by my faithful co-host. I say faithful, but he might be cheating on me, Marco.
Faithless. I'm your faithless companion.
We have Pete.
Hi.
And Douglas.
Hello.
Chris, unfortunately, also cannot join us this session. This was just us. Wow. So let's get back to it. Right. Well, where we left off last session, Cochrane was having a good old chat with Anwin, the leaders of the Lawkeeper group, just kind of shooting the breeze and asking those unimportant questions like, why didn't you tell us the elder had died, etc., etc. Meanwhile, 20-odd kilometers away, the rest of them are scouting a new zone when they got stuck in some horrendous fog, mist, the wind died, and unfortunately for them, they need to take a point of rot each. And if you could make a roll of a rot roll, which is the number of rot points you have in total. Who was that made the roll?
That was Pete.
Yeah.
Pete. So for every one you get, you suffer 1 point of damage, which is damage to your strength roll, which hopefully will do that.
I got nothing.
Yeah. Nothing for you. So you don't take any damage, but you take 1 point of rot, temporary rot. And that'll continue to do every hour. All right. So you hear the sound of this bell in the distance. You hear the sound of a growl coming from the island.
I'll say, ahoy there.
You don't hear anyone back, but you do hear the sound of the bell dinging again. A little bit louder this time.
I don't like this, Roach. I think we should turn around.
I wouldn't disagree with you there.
Free if you wish to turn around.
Yep, we're going to turn around and brave the mist. And I'm going to say, fuck you, creepy guy with the bell.
You hear the sound of a bell ding, and you turn tail. Which way are you going to go? Well, you can go north, south, east, or west?
West.
West it is. Right then, before you leave the zone, can you both make a rot roll, because you're going to take another point of rot before you leave?
Once again, I got nothing.
And Pete. Oh dear.
No, Pete. You're my muscle.
Not anymore, I'm not.
I'm just going to roll a couple of times for Moss.
I guess now would be a bad time to steal wit point from you, Pete.
Dear. Poor old Moss takes 1 damage as well. Okay. Yes, you kind of make your way out of the zone heading west. What is west? That is a good question. Aha. Okay. Yes, you make your way into open water.
Do I need to make a find the path?
If you can make a find the path roll. Pete, if you can, in fact, Douglas, you can roll me a D6, and Pete, can you make a force roll for me, please?
Will do.
Okay, I have 1 success.
Okay.
3 on the D6.
Okay. It stays particularly quiet on the wind, so you haven't to really put your back into it. How did you get on with your roll, Pete?
It doesn't seem to have registered. I'll try it again.
Try again.
1
There
success.
we go. Okay. And then your other one came through as well. So, okay, that's fine. 1 success from you. And Marco, have you done a roll for your find the path?
Yes, I have 1 success.
1 success. Okay. Okay, yeah, you make your way into the path. And so you recall there was something going on here last time. And I will just get that. So yeah, it is, again, it's calm. You kind of make your way out of the mist and fog, which is laying sort of like over sort of like a 10 or 15 kilometer area. And you kind of make your way into the next zone. Again, it's really calm. There's a very, very slight breeze, but not enough to really kind of push the boat to its maximum. So you do need to kind of add the oars to kind of keep going. As you're kind of going through, you realize that you're kind of making your way towards this open area. You remember last time you all started to feel a bit weird and woozy when you were here last time?
I don't recall that.
Remember that?
No, I don't.
Okay.
We're not in the right hotspot.
You're not in the right hotspot, no. Yeah, so as you kind of come into this area, you will start to sort of feel you start to get a headache, and you start to sort of everything starts to kind of feel a little bit stressful. And as you kind of look at sort of like, so Caspian, you look at Roach, he's just not rowing fast enough. And Moss is basically not hardly doing anything. Roach, you can see Caspian just seems to be sitting around doing fuck all. All he's doing is just sort of like sitting down, and he's got his arm on the rudder, and he's essentially doing no work at all. So it really kind of like annoys you, and yeah, it's just annoying.
But you're back into it, Roach. What the fuck's the matter with you, you lazy twat?
Me, lazy? You're the one who's sitting there doing nothing.
Doing nothing. I'm navigating. I'm making sure we don't drown and get lost. What the fuck is Moss doing sitting over there knitting?
She's like, I'm not fucking knitting.
Well, whatever the fuck it is you're doing, be useful or go overboard.
You go overboard, she said.
What is happening to us?
You're like, what? What the hell? I tell you what, of you three, or in fact of you two, who would like to make a scout roll? I guess it's probably going to be you, Marco.
Yeah, I can make the scout roll. 2 successes.
Yeah, you're really kind of concentrating. So you think, what the hell's going on? We're just arguing with each other. I just want to get out of the area. You kind of put your head down, and you can see as you kind of like are sort of doing that, there's a whole lot of small creatures that have kind of bubbled up to the surface that you're on. Almost like stringy, wormy kind of creatures. And they're
Spaghetti
giving
of
off
the
this
sea.
Spaghetti of the sea, that unknown thing. And you can see they're giving off a very faint sort of greenish tinge, almost the color of the sea. And you can see it's just sort of about, I don't know, a foot or so off the water. But every now and then, sort of like it licks over into your boat. You can just barely register it, because by the time it kind of gets to where you are on the deck, it's almost invisible. But you appear to be going through something that's causing this. Make a know the zone roll, but take it at a -2 to your skill.
It's going to hurt a lot.
I have no idea what this is.
I am not going to push.
No, you have no idea what it is.
Roach, look in the water. Those things, I think they're making us go at each other's throats. We got to get out of here.
This mess you've got us into.
Fuck you.
Turn me anger into rowing.
Okay, make an empathy roll, both of you. This is not looking good. I don't see any successes.
No successes.
Caspian's going to eat someone out. Principal.
Yeah. Yeah. I am literally going to bite someone's head off.
You're all very angry, but you kind of, Roach, kind of puts this back into sort of like, I'm just going to try and just row as hard as you can just to kind of get through it. I guess Caspian's going to be arguing and moaning at that no one seems to be doing anything.
Yeah, I'm gonna like get up from my position in the boat, go over to Roach, very foolishly grab the back of his head.
Right.
Turn it so that he's looking over the side of the boat at those creatures and be like, get us the fuck away from those things, you stupid, useless piece of withered muscle.
What's Roach going to do?
I'm concentrating on the rowing, but I kind of like accidentally on purpose catch a crab that sends my elbows straight back into him.
Okay, right. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you kind of go sprawling backwards. Margo. And when he hits you, you kind of get a moment of clarity for just a brief second of that kind of like, oh, what the hell are we doing? You know, this is crazy. The pain almost kind of like dulls it a little bit. And you just continue on that way for sort of maybe about 15, 20 minutes. And you can see that Moss has kind of like gone in on herself and just really kind of trying to row, but isn't really doing anything to kind of help. It's just really sort of shutting down. And you eventually kind of get out of the area, and that sort of subsides. Okay. Which way do you want to go?
That was horrible. Let's never go through there again. Can we mark that the map?
We can. We absolutely can mark that on the map for you. What would you? Which way do you want to go next?
We're going to the island, baby.
Okay, so you head back south on the north end of the island. Make a navigate roll. I'm looking for 2 successes to kind of fly casual. For this case, sail casual.
No, I only have 1 success.
You really don't want to push that.
No, I don't want to push that because there are 3 biohazard symbols waiting to give me damage.
Okay. I mean, you can always push it if you wish, but,
No, I only have 3 wits left. So that 3 damage will knock me out.
Right, well, let me make a roll to see if anyone notices anything. Just roll behind this virtual GM screen. Okay. You reckon you've kind of come in under the radar? And you make your way towards the northern end of the island. Yeah, if you remember, it's kind of on the sort of like northwest side. It's kind of got a bit of a sort of beach, but to the north and south, it's quite rocky. So you've kind of come towards the rockier area. But you kind of like pull in, you kind of, you come to a stop. And you can anchor sort of to the north part of the island, which means that unless someone was directly above you looking down, they probably wouldn't see you.
Moss, I'm really sorry about what I said back there. Those creatures, I think they were affecting us. Please stay here and watch the boat.
It's okay. I understand. These things happen. It's just not good, is it? Well, I know you didn't really mean it.
Roach, that goes for you too. I'm sorry. But, mind those elbows, dude.
Yeah. If I meant it, you'd have known.
I'm sure I would have. Let's just make sure we mark the map.
So, Cochrane, you kind of end up going for a lot longer here. They've gone for, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, gone for almost the entire day. So you kind of have lunch with Anwen, or sort of like a late breakfast with Anwen. And then you're kind of expecting them to come back after a couple of hours. You're kind of thinking, or maybe they've kind of gone round the side and sort of like snuck aboard the island, but you haven't seen anyone, you haven't heard anyone, and no one's sort of like raised the alarm that they would kind of like sneak in. But it starts to get towards the afternoon.
Well, now another thought is niggling at the back of my mind, which is they went and had a conversation with Elson, which I wasn't there.
That's true.
And then Elson have been like, I don't like Cochrane. Take him to the island. Because they said, Elson has given us a mission to go to the island.
This is true.
They have just been like, and then ditch Cochrane because he's on the island.
Yeah, that's absolutely feasible.
Would that be Roach might do that. Would Caspian do that? Fellowship is breaking. I don't know. This is one of these things where it's like, it's a little niggly thought at the beginning. But the longer the day's going and the darker it's getting, it's like, oh, they might not be coming back. They said there'd be a couple hours. And, Caspian's usually a pretty good sailor.
I mean, you never know.
So I guess I'll go. I said I was going to speak with Victrum afterwards. So I guess I'll go for a walk around the outside of the island, whatnot, and just discuss stuff with him.
Yeah. So, Victims have a further chat. You kind of get the sense over the hours that you're there that people are quite happy with what's going on. They seem to have a purpose. The lawkeepers, that seems to be the thing that they have. They've got all the law, I suppose, from the stuff they had in the ship. They've obviously got the other stuff that the elder has told them before she died. You kind of get the sense that when you talk to them, and they're quite happy to tell you that she's been ill for a while. The elder was ill for quite a while. And so she started to impart more knowledge to the lawkeepers. Essentially, their view is that out of everyone, the elder would like the lawkeepers to be the rulers and the people who kind of like lead the ship.
Are they saying that it was the last elder's wish that they take over?
They don't say it's the last elder's wish, but they felt that was something that the elder wanted. So you make of that as you wish.
So out of interest, after we exposed the thing was dead, the elder was dead, what happened to everything in the elder's room? There was lots of artifacts and stuff in there.
There was some artifacts in there. It essentially got stripped.
Just by everyone.
By Rhett's group and by Elson's group. I mean, Elson probably got the majority of it. Elson's gang got the majority of it as the ruling gang. Yeah, so they pretty much got most of that stuff. Well, obviously, when you speak to sort of the lawkeepers, they don't seem to mind that. They knew what the items were, and most of it was there to keep the elder alive or to kind of deliver medicine. That's what they kind of say, to keep her going.
Well, I'll mention to Victrum that I found on our travels, we did find an area that was full of pictures of things, whatever.
Yeah.
And I will describe I think it was art gallery, was it?
Yeah.
And whatnot. And then also, I'll point out when we're just talking about stuff, I'll also point out to like the Northwest and be like, oh, there's like a massive platform out there as well with a bunch of people.
Really? Okay. Whereabouts?
I just sort of point to the vague direction because I'm not navigator. I'm like, I know it's over there, but I can't see it from here. It's like 7 hours, there's like multiple hours sail over that way. They had like tiny little zippy like skiffs, motorized skiffs that they drove around on.
Okay. Well, what do you do when, so you kind of end up going around having a chat, and then you realize that it's longer than you even more expected and it's starting to get dark. What's the plan then? I mean, Victor goes off to do his thing, and you're kind of like taken to a waiting area, or you can wander back down to the dock.
Yeah. Are they not just letting me wander around anywhere?
Yeah, pretty much. They're not kind of like worried. People are sort of watching you as you go places, and the places that you can go when you're alone, there's nothing there to sort of like tape or do anything with. So
I guess I kind of just like head off to like maybe like the northeast of the island and just kind of sit there and wait.
Okay.
I just, if anyone asks, I'll be like, I'm just taking in the view. And I'll maybe just like try and compose a little sea shanty or something about like our journey so far.
Yeah, they kind of like give you some like food and water for your evening meal and kind of leave you to it. You can hear a couple of them sort of chatting that the rest of your team have kind of like left you.
They're like, he'll get over it eventually. Just leave him he's got to go through the 5 stages of grief.
He's got to write a sea shanty about being abandoned.
Yeah, they abandoned me on the sandbank and didn't even give me a pistol and 1 bullet to end myself.
Okay, well, you guys, you get there just as darkness is sort of like falling. What's the plan then, Caspian?
Leader now, all of a sudden?
Okay, Roach, what's the plan?
I guess we're here to pick up Cochrane. Do we just wander in from here, or?
Yeah, I think so. And so we had a message for Anwin, but we're assuming Cochrane gave her that message. Is that correct?
I mean, it's been a whole day that he's been on the island.
Yeah, so we'll move ahead toward, I guess we'll go, due south.
Yeah. Just before we set off, I'm going to use my mutation to get back some strength, I think.
Don't forget, if you've taken any damage, then that adds 2 mutation points.
Oh, it does?
Yeah.
I think it usually calculates it for you.
Yeah, so you're probably, it will automatically calculate.
Yeah, that's why that's why I have.
That's why you suddenly have loads of mutation points.
It's
And
cool.
you're like, I got a minute.
Okay, yeah, you head your way around. So you can just make out Cochrane, the ship, as it kind of, the boat as it kind of goes south around from the north part of the island. And you can kind of track it and you kind of make your way back down to the jetty. And you can see there's a couple of other people there on duty this time.
Are they going to the jetty or are they going to the north part of the island?
They've come from the north part and they're going south.
Oh, okay. Right. Fine. So
they're essentially coming to pick you up.
Fair enough.
We're walking, though. We're not like in the boat.
Okay. Oh, okay. So
that's why I was trying to establish.
Okay, right. Fair enough. Okay. Well, can you make a move roll to get onto the island? Because it's not a nice, easy place to
all of us
climb onto. Whoever's going aboard. So whoever's getting off of the boat. So that's you and Roach. Just need a single success on your move rolls.
Yep. A single success.
1 success for me. And 1 success for thee.
It means you just have to kind of like scramble over some rocks and stuff, and it's just not a nice, easy landing. Yeah, you kind of make your way up to the north part of the island. Weirdly, you come across Cochrane sitting there, just finishing off like a stew with a drink.
Probably we heard his
sea shanty.
The writing of a sea shanty on the way, yeah. It's the sad, sad song of being left alone. Hello, Cochrane.
What took you guys so long? I've been here for hours.
Sorry about that. We ran into some trouble on the water.
Nothing too bad, I hoped. I thought you had left me here for good.
Some creepy mist, another island, the bell ringing, a growl, some floating anger worms, nothing we couldn't handle.
Well, I'm kind of done here. Whatever. spoke Darwin. She wasn't particularly happy about the way things are, but then again, I feel like I'm not sure if the lore keepers even want to come back. She took quite interest in like what Elson's up to and that sort of thing, especially with him being away, but they don't have any way off the island. So I've said when the time's right, we'll come pick her up for the meeting. But I asked her about whatchamacallit, the elder and that sort of thing, but they're pretty unrepentant about that.
Unrepentant, you say?
Yeah, they said it was for the best for everyone, what they did. And yeah, they don't regret the decision.
They don't? She doesn't regret lying to us?
No, didn't even hesitate when there was discussion. And she said it was the best for everyone and that sort of thing.
Can you take us to her? Do you remember where she is?
Yeah, it's set up in, whatchamacallit, the dead people houses.
Right, but do you know which one is hers?
I know the one I met her in. I don't know if that's the one she lives in. I'll explain to Caspian which one was the one that I met her in. And then be like, oh, yeah, but they've like got a bunch of guard towers. And they had sort of like guardy stuff, didn't they, around the walls?
Okay.
There are people like watching there and stuff.
Well, then,
yeah,
I'll have words with her when we pick her up for the meeting.
Trust me, like, I don't think you're going to make her feel bad about any of it.
I might make her feel bad. I could think of a few ways to do that. Unpleasant ways. Now, shall we head back to the boat and get to the Ark?
Yeah. Like,
is there any unfinished business here we need to attend to?
I mean, if there's any spare food knocking around.
Oh, they've got tons of stuff here. You literally just pick it off the branches, almost.
Well, I have some water and grub if you need it before we get back to the Ark, Roach.
I've got enough to survive for now.
Yeah, I mean, you guys will be able to get back to the Ark and have food today. That'd be fine.
I don't know. I'm kind of getting fed up with dealing all these leaders and politics and that sort of thing. She was asking me a whole pile of questions about like how many people Elson had left on the ship and stuff, which seemed real suspect.
But yeah,
really?
She's angling. Yeah,
up to something. They all are.
They've
tired of this.
Failed all of us, and I'm sorry, Roach, we are better off without any of them.
We're better off with balance.
Balance? Sure.
Someone's going to lead no matter what. So
yes, we lead collectively. All of us together lead. You, me, Cochrane, Moss, everyone else. The council is us. No one is above anyone else.
An interesting concept. Have to think about that. Anyway, let's go back to the boat.
Okay.
Yeah, you head back to the boat and you head back to the ship. It doesn't take very long to get across to the ship. Is there anything particular you want to do when you get back to the ship? Pretty much people are kind of settling in for the night.
Caspian's probably going to try to wash this rot off.
Okay.
And then he'll eat. And then, I guess the first thing would be to find out if Elson came back.
Elson's still out.
Elson is still out. Okay.
Okay. If you want to wash the rot off, feel free to do so. If you do that, every time you're about to lose 1 point of rot, roll 1 base dice. If you roll a 1, the rot point stays and becomes permanent. And just do that for each of your temporary ones.
I rolled a 3.
And that's fine. It disappears and you don't take any permanent rot. Unfortunately, Pete, you get another bit of permanent rot.
And I've got another roll as well.
Should have just come to the island. You'd have done yourself less damage and got fed.
And I will do the same with poor old Moss. Some of that.
Yeah, Moss had a real bad time.
Yeah, so she's got 2 rolls to make. Lucky her. So let's see what happens to her. So she gets, nope, that's fine. And 1 more. But she loses both her rot, but doesn't get any permanent rot. Okay. Now you're back at the place. Any projects you'd like to look at?
Which projects are there any active ones?
You currently have no active ones, and essentially with all the leaders not here, no one is actually doing anything. So last session we didn't do any because everyone's away. But because you're now in here, the players are back in the Ark. Is there anything you particularly would like to do as a collective that maybe, and this is something that probably you will discuss or kind of speak to general people as opposed to the bosses making a decision about it. While Elson has gone, Rhett's group have kind of picked a leader and they have picked Franton who is the navigator and one of the underbosses that worked with Rhett, and they've picked Frenton to sort of like be the nominal leader of the rugged crew.
I remember what we were supposed to do. We were supposed to secure the food supply from the island. Oops. I knew there was something up in the air that we hadn't nailed down.
Let's just say you forgot to tell that part. I think I implied that, but I said that would be part of their discussion, I imagine.
Yeah, because without that extra food, we don't have 25 food, which means we're farther below the requirement of our ARC project that we were discussing offline.
Okay, so we have to get more food.
Yep.
What are you thinking, Pete? Do you have any preferences on anything?
Well, I think the talks with Anwin will dictate what action we take over securing more food.
Well,
so we'll wait until that happens.
We want to work on the assumption that it will go successfully or that they'll go badly. Because there's two ways we could do that.
Yeah, I'm worried about their seeming confidence about their position, and they're talking about Elson not being here. I think we ought to talk to the rugged crew and make sure they're on side and are aware that Anwin was maybe possibly thinking of making a bid to take the ship back. And so maybe I'd be extra concerned about maybe getting everybody to work more on the defences again, just in case.
Okay. So we have watchtowers.
We've already got those.
So what would be another fancy thing?
So militia will be another one, an armed force to protect the Ark. You've got warfare of 10, so you could do that. That's the requirement.
Yeah, I might suggest that we have a neutral from the gangs.
Here's the thing. Whatchamacallit? Persuading the military on side with a particular ideology usually leads to that coming yes, the militia might work well for their plan if there is a independent militia force.
Yeah. I mean, if you ask any of the general people, so Frenton is very keen to set out and scout the rest of the island. And so he's pretty much like, well, we don't really know enough about the area that we're in, and it'd be really helpful if we did that. And then hopefully, if that's the case, if there are others around, maybe we can find some way to trade with them. And so maybe if we set up some kind of marketplace where we can kind of, all the stuff we find out in the island, we can kind of like put together and start trading amongst ourselves. So his view is he would very much like a marketplace so that all the groups can kind of like trade with each other. So that's his plan.
You want to trade with these cannibals on the island. You want to eat the
well, not with the
tried
cannibals.
That. It kind of worked.
But kind of set up so that, because at the moment, all the kind of like gangs are sort of like out for themselves, as it were. So he wants everyone to kind of trade with each other so they can kind of work with each other more, setting up a marketplace to kind of allow each other to sort of share resources.
Unfortunately, there's one problem with his idea. We're too low culture to even have a concept of trade because you need a culture of 10. So that concept is almost beyond us. So we're like, trade? I just beat with club. Take it.
So he's very much kind of, that's the sort of thing he would like to do, but he understands that people are just not going to do it at the moment.
Yeah. Okay. Fair. Okay. So militia's one idea. I was thinking if we wanted food, if we were planning on things going well, mill would be making use of the cropland. But if not, there's like smokehouse, which uses fish. Because I think we've got the hunting party already done from I think that was the first thing we did.
I still haven't managed to get my head around the suggestion that we're all equal and should all rule together.
I think militia's a good idea.
I do too.
Yeah. So
I do too, but it needs to be a militia that is not beholden or no one boss is the commander-in-chief, as it were, of the militia. That would not be okay.
Are you saying we pick the most skilled person for the job who does not have a political...
It needs to be someone who's not a boss, who has the power to command the militia, to organize the militia, to decide, when, where, and how the militia is to be deployed.
We have some sort of election.
I don't trust that.
What's an election?
Yeah, what's
that's a good point, actually.
I don't even know what that means. Yeah, that's a weird word.
Frenton is happy because he's the only boss here, even though he's like brand new. He's happy for someone other than one of the gangs to kind of arrange that. Although if you discuss it with him, he's kind of worried that whoever he gets to do it will end up building their own gang.
Well, it's not his choice.
So he says maybe if we get some from all of them, like a few from each of them, they could all work as one independent thing.
Right, but it can't. So the person in charge of the militia, you can't appoint that person because then that person is beholden to you.
So how do you pick him?
I think a show of hands, we all need to decide collectively, I think, who this, maybe it's not one person, maybe it's a council.
Maybe once the members of the militia are nominated, they can sort it out amongst themselves.
Yeah, maybe there'll be a natural-born militia leader who will be like, when we get the militia, we'll be like, oh, that guy's really good at militia.
Maybe it should be Roach.
Yeah, could be Roach.
But tries his best to look humble and, maybe not.
Yeah. Friend says, I like that idea. Yeah, why not Roach?
Roach is a stand-up guy.
Yeah, I like that.
He even sits down on occasion.
And I've seen him fight things before, and,
that
scary.
Was Caspian's horrible attempt at humor.
Yeah, so maybe when Elson's gang gets back and we have a...
No, he says, let's not wait till Elson's gang gets back, because I think they might want to decide on something a bit different. While we're here and there is no leaders, I mean, I'm new, I appreciate this, but why don't I'm happy for you to do it. It means that it's someone completely different to us. You pick who you want, and you can then figure out how many people you need and do it that way. How about that? Or why don't you all? Yeah, he says, why don't you all do it
Collectively.
What?
Yeah, you guys do it.
We're independent
And trustworthy.
Yeah, why don't you do that?
I love this idea.
This guy's a lot more trusting than Rhett.
He says, I'm happy with that. Technically, I'm supposed to be the one gang leader here, and I'm happy with that. Why don't we ask some of the others? And so he kind of like gathers the kind of older of you together. So there's probably about 20 or so of you, the eldest by about a year or two. And says, look, he'd quite like to have Pete and Cochrane and Moss and Caspian. So Roach, Cochrane and Caspian and Moss kind of like put the heads together and kind of help to put the militia together. And that way, it's not just any of the gangs. They're a completely different group of people. That makes sense. And essentially, general consensus is that seems like a good idea. And if you're happy to do it, then they're happy to do it.
I'll say, look, we need to defend ourselves. We were taken by surprise, and that's, and stranded here. And now our people were being kidnapped and used for food by another group on the island. We don't know where Elson is. We don't know what happened to him. He may or may not return. We have to start looking out for ourselves. Dare I say, all of our leaders have failed us. We need an independent, defensive organization to stand up, step up, and defend us when necessary.
They'll pretty much look around and go, yep, it's you guys.
One that is unbeholden to any of the existing power structures on the ark.
We all agree that. We like that.
They're susceptible to the idea
very easily. You've done quite a lot for the ship in the short time that you've been stranded here. So absolutely, they're more than happy to that. You've also exposed, obviously, the Lawmaster. You've exposed Rhett's gang. They were going to take over. You've kind of worked with Elson's gang, but they're a little bit unsure about whether or not Elson wants to kind of take over as a leader. So having you as independents, you've kind of got in between all of them. You've kind of like carried messages across. So they're more than happy to do that. So everyone who wants to get involved in the militia can make a fight or a manipulate roll to see how well you get on.
Are we all going in on this?
Caspian failed. Caspian rolled manipulate.
Okay.
Hey, one success.
Take it we can't push this one.
I can't remember if you can push or not. I think I'm not really sure if you can. Let me just double check.
Caspian made that great speech and he still failed. That's bullshit.
Yeah. If you want the inspirational speeches, you turn to Cochrane.
You can indeed push your roll.
Please do that.
Okay.
I got no successes from my...
You had so many dice there.
Yeah.
One.
I got one. I was just
So there's two successes.
trying so hard.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, you give it a go, and it's probably going to take you longer than you think. But yeah, you managed to get a couple of successes between you. I'm going to not add moss to the roll unless you want me to.
That's okay.
Okay. Yeah. So you kind of end up getting back. You wait while you're setting up the militia. I assume you're going to pick random a bunch of people, or I mean, who are you going to pick? Anyone from any of the gangs? You're going to pick them specifically not from any of the gangs, I guess.
We'll definitely have a few representatives of the gangs, but we'll know what their affiliation is. But yeah, the rest of them will take from unaffiliated.
Yeah, and I think the majority will be unaffiliated.
Do you want me to get up and make like an inspirational speech to get volunteers?
Yeah, go on then.
And be like, for the good of the common man and whatever.
What we'll do, how about if you make an inspirational speech? Every success after the first will add, I guess, a bit more motivation and maybe a little bit more skill. So the more skilled will come through. So the more successes you have, the more skilled your militia will be.
Now, here's a bit of a jammy question, because I've got the talent agitator.
Yep.
Which allows me bonuses on motivating people to fight. Would that be fighting in general, or fighting as in fighting roles are we talking about?
No, so I'm happy for that to be sort of like an inspirational thing, because, you want to get up, protect the Ark.
Yeah.
You want to make sure that things are, we can't just have any one leader rule. This is the...
So that gives me a +2, which is that just 2 more dice, is it?
That's 2 more dice to your skill.
Okay. Yeah. And it's just inspire, is it? We're saying for this. So that is 10 dice. Ooh. It's almost like this is what I do.
It's what you do. It's get no successes.
And that's 3 successes, I think. Yeah, 3.
Do with that? Do you want to push it?
I'll live with 3. That's a pretty good start. Sure.
Yeah, you get sort of like, a good couple of handfuls of militia to start with. They're not incompetent. You've got 2 extra successes. So essentially then we're going to have like fight or shoot at level 2 or 3. So they're actually fairly competent. And they're yours. That if you were to give them out orders, they wouldn't necessarily, unless it was for the good of the Ark, but they'll tend to follow your general direction.
I'm sure Roach will be able to get them into shape. Teach them how to hit things, shoot good.
Yeah, I mean, so is Roach going to have an active sort of like training them to understand what to do and how to fight? And
he'll whatever tactics and ways of working together and everything. Yeah, he'll try and make sure that they know what they're doing.
Okay. Yeah, so they're not sort of like, master fighters. I mean, there's a few of them that are really good at what they do, but it's not like a massive standing army. It's a smaller militia of them. But yeah, you kind of get them sort of like training. And then a couple of days later, Elson turns up. Elson is a little bit shocked as to what's happened, but seems to go along with it.
Couple of days. How long was he away?
He was away for a couple of days.
How many people came back?
So you're missing a couple. So if you want to roll
left with like 13 people.
Yeah, roll me a d6. You can -2 from that.
No, we want this as high as possible because half of them are Elson.
So then Pete should roll.
Pete.
Yeah, go. He rolled a 6 last night.
He lost no one. I think that's your very first roll since we've been playing the game where no one has gone now. So yeah, he comes back. They say they've cleared the cannibals. They followed them all the way back to where their lair was, where they were staying. When they did that, they mentioned that just off the coast here, I'll show you on the map, there is a large wrecked ship that they could just see on the edge of the zone. Just off the point, they could see that there was something there, and they think there might even be an island further along. Some information that they kind of like had found. Elson wants to know how it went with Anwynth.
It went as you might expect. Once you tell us when you want to have the meeting, we'll go fetch her.
Okay. Yeah, he says he'll have a meeting in a day or so. So if you want to go and pick her up tomorrow, that'll be great. And then they'll have a meeting. He finds out that the rugged crew have got a new leader. He seems quite happy with that. He doesn't seem too fussed with it. And he's I guess, while he's shocked about the militia, he is more or less happy to kind of go with it. He seems okay with it.
Yeah, I'll suggest that we each of the gangs provides an enforcer to the militia as kind of like the intermediary between the gangs and the militia.
He seems to think that's a fair thing to do, especially when he realizes that the majority of the people in the ship are sort of like on your sort of side for this. They like the idea of an independent militia to help them. And so, he's very, very happy with that. And I guess I'm going to make a roll before the end of this session because I haven't rolled a threat against the Ark.
Now is a good time.
Okay.
Is it the fine young cannibals?
It is the fine young cannibals.
They drive me crazy.
Yeah, a day goes by and everyone's getting ready for the meeting. You're all asked to kind of do that. And when you kind of prepare yourself to get on the boat, you notice that there's something going on in the water between you and the island. And not long after, some more of these crab people come out and you appear to have an invasion. It looks like you might have to put your militia to the test.